from the Green website, this is also, I think I put this in the show notes so people can go reading it for themselves. Our tamariki deserve better. Read our promises below. Every child in Aotearoa deserves to grow up with safety and stability wrapped in aroha. The thing that I love about you greenies sometimes is that you say things that, how could anyone disagree with that? No matter where you sit on the political spectrum, everyone would agree with that. You have made 7 promises.
Yep.
Every child's whānau and whakapapa must be centred. Every child must be free from poverty. Every child must be supported every step of their journey. Every child must be heard, respected, and placed at the heart of decision making. Every child must be protected. Every child must have a stable, nurturing home. And finally, every child is cared for by a well-supported workforce. What we normally do here is pretty much just throw you the ball now, Kahu, and just that's what we're laying out and that's what we want to know more about. Tell us about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for reading the promises out because I was going to rattle them off.
Done.
We've seen over this term and previous to this term as well, kids in care not have safety, security, and aroha. And we had a massive apology almost a year ago. You know, the Royal Inquiry into Abuse in State Care, which is just horrific. You know, over 200,000, probably 250,000 kids were abused in state care in New Zealand, did an inquiry. The government accepted it and apologised, and now they are going against some of these recommendations. So we're talking about, I think there was 233 recommendations, 207 of them were for the government. Some of them were for state-based care, faith-based care. And so far, only 19 have been accepted. I think about 38 have been, you know, the intent is to accept them. And then we've seen them go completely against some of them. These are things like repealing Section 7AA, that tamariki have a right to their whakapapa. They have a right to know where they're from, who they are, where they're from. And we heard from survivors through the reports that they so painstakingly shared was that this caused them trauma and that they never want any other child to experience that. So as well as being part of the UN Declaration on the Rights of the Child and Waitangi Tribunal reports and so many other things, and then establishing boot camps. You know, a whole chapter is dedicated in the inquiry to why we should not have boot camps, and legislating being able to use force from a third-party contractor on children. Like, if we can't keep our kids safe, like, what kind of country are we? And even today in the House, we had Minister McKee speaking on behalf of the Minister for Children. One of the questions put to her was, what do you say to the reported 4,000 kids being kept in prison, in jail overnight, in cells, some up to 8 days. And this has gone up from like 48. So like, what are we doing? We need to keep our kids safe. And that's what this is about. It's about making sure that we listen to the kids. We've developed this alongside kids that have been through the system. We've developed it with the people that are actually doing the mahi at the Flax Roots. And we've had lots of feedback on it because it's not perfect. We want to keep working together to improve and to listen to the people that know best what's happening out there. But one of the best bits of feedback we had was a kid who's been through the system said, I could have written this myself, you know, this is what I want. And so that we know we're on the right track there. And so what we're asking is the Minister for Children to adopt these 7 promises, these 7 duties of care to kids. And what you can do is sign our open letter. We're going to hand it over to the Minister for Children. And yeah, there it is. You can sign it. And say we want to centre tamariki in every single government decision, because that's not happening at the moment.
You talk about kids in state care, and you talk about the abuse that we all know that's been well publicised. The other place that kids obviously face abuse is in the home. What is the kind of focus from the Greens on? Is there a diversification between those two groups? How do you do it to help the kids who have been abused in state care become child focused, but also, the kids in the home that are suffering at the hands of abuse more often than not from a parent or from an adult within that community?
Absolutely. This is the reality of the country we're living in right now. And we need to put in those prevention measures so that no kid is ever harmed. Our littlies deserve that. And what we've seen from this government is a slashing of funding to protection care agencies. That means their focus has moved well away from prevention, so that harm never happens, to punishment. And just yesterday, we were questioning and talking with the Children's Commissioner and the Independent Children's Monitor on this scathing report that came out from the Auditor General's office around Oranga Tamariki's procurement practices. So when Nicola Willis brought in this, we need fiscal restraint and we need to have this blanket 6%, cuts from all ministries. Oranga Tamariki had 6.5% cuts. And that's when we saw Oranga Tamariki closing and not funding all of these safety care agencies. So now they are not there. We heard the minister call them cash cows. This report has said that Oranga Tamariki didn't look into that, and they can't find evidence that is what happened. It's pretty insane that this is happening here and now. And so the Children's Commissioner yesterday urged us all to work together. She's like, can you put politics aside and actually work together? And so it's something I really want to do. And I welcome a conversation with the Minister for Children. Let's talk about this. We've done the mahi. We're handing it to you. Let's go.